9:10.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
The best ideas are free with Ben Young from bwaggy.com.
bwaggy.com. It is Ben Young. Good morning to you, Ben. How are you?
Good morning.
Good. Good weekend?
Good weekend.
You didn't make it to the Pixies at all, did you?
No, I've just heard about your own adventure with the Pixies and then the Mint Chicks.
And then the Mint Chicks, man, that was full on. Good times.
Where was I? Come on.
Yeah. There was a lot of people there, and I think they witnessed something quite special.
Yeah.
But also a little bit troubling because we're not sure where the Mint Chicks are at with their, whether or not they're going to. I don't want to put too many rumours out there, but they had a fight at the end. Well, not a full-on fisticuffs, but it seemed like a disagreement on stage. But
something wasn't right.
It may have been staged. It may, for some future promotion that they're doing, but I don't know. We'll see.
They were live streaming, weren't they?
They were live streaming, yes, and so that means there should be a recording somewhere at some point. So hopefully someone will put that up online.
Yeah, need to check that out.
Yeah, but I thought that was that was great. I thought that was really forward-thinking.
Yeah,
or just now thinking, I suppose.
That is quite cool
to stream it.
I missed out on the live show and the live streaming.
Yeah. Oh, well.
No more excuses.
So let's talk about running theory. About the first topic.
So running theory is a little blog post that I put a couple of weeks ago. And as you know, when I'm interacting in business and in the world, I come up with these little theories on how things work. They're not academically proven. Often I find they're little models on top of something else. But one of them...
Actually, how often do you come up with stuff that a little bit later on you go, oh, no... Why did I say that? I've totally disproven that. Does that happen very often?
Not really.
Okay.
Because the thing is, I wrote it and I shared it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I digest these things for quite some time. And then I'll realise I've told this to 6 or 7 people, I should really write it and share it.
Okay.
So by the time anyone sees it, it's probably gone through 8 people anyway.
It's gone through a process.
Yeah.
Good.
So I'm guessing if it doesn't get to 8 people, it probably shouldn't be shared with them.
They haven't gone... Okay. They haven't said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, Ben, then...
Crazy.
Yeah. All right,
okay.
Running theory.
So, I'm a bit of a runner. I got sick a few years ago, so I went from being able to run 14 Ks to running nil. And I got back into running. And the thing with running is, the first time you get back into it, that first run, you can do stuff all. Like, depending on your fitness... Maybe 1 to 3 kilometres, hypothetically. I would guess the average person does maybe 1.5, 2 kilometres.
Yeah.
And so what I've noticed that every time I've gotten back into running, the first time, this is me personally, I tend to do about 1.5 Ks. It's not that much, but the humidity in Auckland definitely gets to me. So that's okay. And then I always try and follow it up the next day with another run. And the second run...
Next hour?
No, next day.
Yep.
Next day.
Yep.
So I'm going for the second run. And then somehow I'm able to do, say, like 2.3. It's usually about 30% increase. And then the next day, if I do the same, I can usually push it a bit more. And if I do it every day for a week, after a week I actually hit my physical limit. Now, what's happening on each of these other days, it's more a mental barrier. Like, I think I can do this. But the first day, I can chip off 1.5, so the next day you somehow push through that. And it's not that you got magically fitter overnight. It's just that your own horizons have been slightly expanded.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm saying is that we kind of put these limits on ourselves, and we don't know our own horizons till we push to them and then discover new ones.
That's so true.
And that's, I just call it running theory because it's the easiest way to explain it.
And that's why you always end up saying the phrase, "Oh, that wasn't that hard."
Yeah,
it wasn't
exactly.
as hard as I thought.
Yeah.
And that's reaching that limit and then going, "Oh, actually, that
it
limit
wasn't that bad."
No.
But the key thing is, if you don't push to that limit, you don't know that it doesn't really exist. And I always think people underestimate their potential by probably 99%. Whatever you think you can get to now is probably 1% of what you actually can.
But that's comes from, I suppose, a reluctance to set goals that are unachievable.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. What I'm saying is, whatever you think you can do, you're probably way, 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 way under your potential. So you need to push through that so you can actually unlock some of your potential.
So this chap, Sean Quincy, he shouldn't have just set his sights on New Zealand. He should have kept going, perhaps all the way to South America.
Well, you see, he may have thought he could only do 20%.
Yeah. Well, actually, he did, because it was something like 2,200 kilometres or something, but he did close to 4,000 kilometres. Yeah,
because you're not going in a straight line. It's not like as the bird flies.
Yeah.
There's tides, there's waves, things go wrong.
Wind and stuff.
You have to sleep at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, incredible, isn't it? 4,000 Ks. All right, next topic, 95.5.
So 95.5 is another one of these little theories that I have. And basically, it's all about leverage. And when you're looking at any engagement with the marketplace, there's your business and then there's the marketplace. And my argument is that in today's environment, you need to have 95% of all your engagement in the marketplace where the customers are. Now, a good example of this is Twitter. For the first 2 or 3 years whilst Twitter was growing, it was about 90 to 95% of all the tweets were actually off-site. They weren't on the main website. Right. They were via mobile, they were via clients, they were via other websites. And the key thing here was that by existing wherever the consumers were, they actually grew the on-site capability. Mm-hmm. So by pushing so much out into the market, you unleash as much potential out of that market and then drive it back to you. And so this is a bit of a flip side of the traditional view, which is, hey, I'm a business, everybody should be walking through my doors.
Yeah.
When really, in reality, by doing that, you actually limit the potential of the people walking through the doors. If you can push as much engagement out to where the consumers are, you're going to get more people in the doors.
So your example there was on an online example like Twitter. Is there one that is offline, a retail example?
Well, a good little example would be, and I know a bit about this, is people recommending books. For all the people that recommend a book or write a review on a book, there's only a small amount that actually purchase it. And it's almost the same as the 95.5. By getting so much reviews and word of mouth in the market, you sell as much as you possibly could. And sure, in all those reviews, you might have to give away a decent amount of content in the book. And sometimes actually online or in the newspapers, you'll see a 10 bullet point breakdown of all the key things to take away from a book. But by sharing that with the market, even though it does give some of your product away, you leverage the amount of people purchasing your product. And
that's true, because sometimes you might, I do a lot of book interviews, and sometimes the author will say, "Oh, but you'll have to read the book to find that out."
Yeah.
And you go, "Well, okay, yeah, it might make me want to read the book, but if you give me a little bit more."
Yeah, well, it's a little bit silly, but if you give them a hook or give them the key concepts, because people do want to read, they want to find out more, but they also want a token. You know, this symbolises this idea that I got off this other person.
And I suppose the music industry is really starting to look at this, and individual bands are, where they're giving away some of their tracks for free. An example is the Phoenix Foundation last week released their first single for free off the forthcoming album, so you can go and download that.
Arctic Monkeys, the first big internet independent music stars.
Yeah,
they would give out CDs for free at all their every venue they played at, and people would go home and play it again.
Play it to their friends.
And you'd think, when they launch an album, no one's going to buy it. But when they launched it, they get 2 or 3 million units within a month or something. It was incredible.
Yeah,
and that's a hugely classic example of this. It's more about giving it to the consumer so they can engage and judge for themselves whether or not they want to work with you.
That is 95.5 and Running Theory. You can engage in the conversation a little bit more, perhaps ask Ben some questions. You can go do that up on his blog, bwaggy.com, bwaggy.com. You can also check him out on Twitter, twitter.com/bwaggy.
Cool.
Thanks very much, Ben.
Cheers.
See you next time.